It's October the 9th still. It's Thanksgiving Day. It's around 3 o'clock. So we're in front of the Tim Hortons. What I wanted to draw your attention to here, a couple of things. First off, let's notice there's a new handicap parking spot. But I want you to notice, now remember the number 3. They have this fascination with 3, everything 3, because it's a trinity. So they have to mock and take control over themselves because they just control God. So now we have 3 handicap parking signs. Just they love to tell me how disabled and handicapped I am because I'm so mentally retarded. We've seen this just constantly over and over. You know, you just get, like I showed in the other day, a man in a wheelchair wheeling by with a Canadian flag. They love to mock Canada, the fact that they've taken over Canada and we're so weak and acquiescent that we just let them. And so they have Canadian flags. They love to mock Canada. They love to mock Fukushima. They just roil in the fact that they actually caused another nuclear disaster in Japan. That's how powerful they are. But what I wanted to draw attention to here, besides the 3 handicap parking spots, is the fact, and it's very interesting that there's 2 here and 1 over there. It just doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do it that way, especially with the handicapped parking spot signs clearly with a yellow line through them. There's the original, I think, or maybe what was. But what we want to draw your attention to is, if you remember, I stayed at a place, a backpacking hostel called the Bee's Knees, that was $35 a night, and on Sunday morning I was told, no, with a half hour left to go, get your stuff and get out of here, everything's booked. The Illuminati arrived the day before, because when I came in from having a cigarette, they left all their luggage right at the front door, so I had to climb over it. One of the guys who was Illuminati came in the front door without me even seeing him. His first thing was, oh my God, there's going to be snow. They've been talking about snow for 2 weeks now, that, you know, this crisis is occurring. But this Tim Hortons, I stayed here when I got dumped off at 4 o'clock in the morning at the Greyhound terminal, which was supposed to get me to leave and hate the Yukon. I came over here, it was 24 hours a night, they told me. But last night, after I was thrown out of the Bee's Knees Backpackers, I went up because I was trying to find some sort of a path or some sort of a sign over here, over the mountains, that there might be some freedom somewhere, but of course there was nothing there. There was nobody there to help. And so I tried to come back and come in here, and then I found out there were 2 big, huge signs by the front door saying that they're closed between 12 and 4. The reason for that, it's all adding up, of course. The reason the backpackers was, I can't stay there, I can't stay here and stay all night and have a coffee, is to force you to go to the Salvation Army that was just loaded with evil people who actually hit me a few times and interrupted me and sat at a table where I was sitting, clinking their soup spoons constantly through the whole meal, just to needle you, just to get at you. What I want to draw your attention to is the fact that, again, this happens every month. I've been saying it in blog after blog and video after video. Your money, they steal money from you. The ride that I took from Dawson Creek, the hellhole where I was imprisoned by the police because I was trying to flee a concentration camp at 4 o'clock in the morning, somehow at the top of this hill I created public disturbance. Public mischief is what it was called. I was put in prison for the maximum 24 hours before a video meeting could be set up with a judge, just to force you to be in prison for 24 hours again. And this fake judge is on the phone, and then I'm suddenly released, but they stole my bank card. When I left from Dawson Creek to Fort Nelson, the bus was ironically $90. When I went from, oh, there's Illuminati right there. That's the haunted barrel works that I tell you about, where they constantly create all these sounds to distract you, especially if you're in a meditative spot. They just do it constantly. But I refer to it often. It's real. When I left from Dawson Creek to go to Fort Nelson, the bus was $90. It's about a 6-7 hour bus ride. When I went from Fort Nelson to Whitehorse, it's about a 10-hour. There you go. There's the Illuminati, the Haunted Barrel Works right over there. Remember, this whole goddamn place, like every city in Canada, is deserted. There are no Canadians living here. Everything you see around you is all make-believe by Illuminati. Here we go, just to the right here. Just catch that. That's one right there. The bus from Dawson Creek, or rather from Fort Nelson to Whitehorse, which is about a 10-hour ride, suddenly was $200. Every single hotel in Fort Nelson was the exact same price, $79.99. So you can see then, so having to stay at Fort Nelson, so of course in Fort Nelson either I stayed in a motel where I could sleep by myself and have some comfort, or because I'm such a scumbag, I would have to sleep in a shelter. The shelter thing is just constant. It's been going on since the Toronto police made me homeless the first time on September 22nd, 2014. Thank you, Toronto police, and thank you, RCMP. You have made my life a living hell. You have completely made I now live in complete poverty. I sleep on the streets in the middle of the night. I freeze. I starve. Thank you, Toronto police and RCMP, for doing such an outstanding job. Because I had to stay, I chose to stay rather than in a hostel on the floor. I chose to stay in a motel for 3 nights in Fort Nelson. That's $270. When you add the fabricated Greyhound ticket, keep in mind there's nobody that lives in any of these regions except for clones that they move in. So the $200 was just another theft out of your pocket. There's another fabricated Illuminati trick, that a plane is ready to take you to safety any day now. They do that all the time. That's been going on since at least May, June, that just around the corner, like I was led to believe last night, if I went just over that hill, there would be freedom for me. I did, because you're so goddamn desperate. You're so fucking goddamn desperate to stay alive that you will climb over that hill last night, which is what I did, trying to find freedom. There was none there. I ended up spending $15, which I was quoted by the taxi guy before I even got in the cab, to get back into town so I could come here and find out there was no place to sleep. And either I went to the Salvation Army and slept on a mat on the floor, which a whole bunch of people who would molest me and steal my money, or I would stay at a TD Bank vestibule down the street. Where I am with this is we are adding it up. We had $200 for the fake Greyhound ticket to get to Whitehorse. We had $270 for the fake motel cost to have a place to sleep, for God's sakes, in Fort Nelson. So that's $470. That is a gigantic amount of my monthly budget. It means now that I have no food, I have no place to sleep, and I'm stuck sleeping outside. Or of course I could go to the Salvation Army, where I am forced to put up with Illuminati antics and have the Antichrist around me all night long. I did wake up one morning, and when I was sleeping, there's the Illuminati right there. That is not a real ambulance. Keep in mind there's no living people here, so there's no reason for ambulances or fire trucks or anything. I did wake up one morning and the hair on the back of my head was tied in a knot. It was some sort of satanic thing. This is what I have to put up with. Folks, this whole goddamn fucking thing is coming to an end now. I have no money for food. I have no money for a motel room. I am not goddamn staying at the Salvation Army on a floor. It's freezing cold out here, as you can see. I will be sleeping outside on concrete, starving and freezing to death in the dark. This thing is rapidly coming to a goddamn climax. I refuse to be treated like garbage any longer. I refuse to be sleeping in the Salvation Army. I refuse to go for a Thanksgiving dinner at 2 o'clock and be told while someone wolfs down food in front of me that there's no food left for me. Here's more Illuminati right here. If you caught her eye from the left peering out at you, this is what I face. My life now has basically 1 week left. if someone in the goddamn fucking Canadian and American governments doesn't get their fucking asses in gear, I'm gonna be dead soon.